This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 730. Hi, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today, it's Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley, plus part 2 of my Into an interview with the 5-piece band from Benicia, California, called Dead Cat Hat. And what Twitter is making even more money? Mike's Daily Podcast. We'll find out about that. And the forecast here for Podcastro Valley is very sunny. Mike's Daily Podcast. And hot and dry. And where the hell did all the water go? Oh, it came out of that water main down there in LA. So, by UCLA, all their parking garages got wet. And that place, the Poly Pavilion, where I got net. Nothing but net. Isn't that a basketball term? Mike's Daily Podcast. Yeah, I saw a basketball game there once a long time ago. And in the last show, the Brewmaster was changed into Mike's a cyborg. Daily. That was weird. Podcast. He got better, though. Yeah! Yeah, and I watched Haunted Mansion last night on Netflix. I've been working at my part-time job all week. They've needed me for the whole week, so I went in and worked, and then I came home, and I didn't feel tired yet, so I watched Haunted Mansion. I have never watched it, and there is a reason why most of us have never watched it. It's horrible. Oh, look, who just walked in. Hello, Michael. This is Michael Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega, not Madame Leona. Oh, yeah, Madame Leona. She's from the Haunted Mansion. She's the woman whose head is in the crystal ball, and you go into the seance room. She's sitting on the seance. Oh, now she's floating above the seance table. There was a time where she was just sitting on it. And all these musical instruments and things are flying around the room. And they incorporated that into the movie. Which, okay, so I've been on the ride probably my entire life, maybe a little over 20 times. I went to Disneyland quite a bit as a kid growing up in the San Fernando Valley. And I lived in Southern California for almost 40 years. So I had chances to get down to Disneyland once in a while. Although the older you get, the more you're like, I never want to go there again. Unless you're a complete child in your brain. Or you have a child. And you're experiencing the wonder through their eyes. I guess that's why Disneyland keeps making money and charges over $100 per ticket now. It's insane. Michael Matthew, I've never been there. That's probably a good thing. I hear they have a monorail. Yes. It's amazing. Why that never took off. We've got BART here in the Bay Area, but it's not quite the same. So, yeah, the movie. Oh, my dad used to call movies pictures. Yeah, because he worked at Universal. He was, I think I've mentioned this in a previous podcast, he was the stand-in for Rock Hudson. Which, strangely enough, he looked nothing like Rock Hudson, but he was still his stand-in. He was about the same height as Rock Hudson. So, yes, my dad, I asked him many a question when it came out that Rock Hudson was gay. Well, when it was official. For many years, there was rumors, but then it really was, everybody knew. And I asked him about it. My dad was like, yeah, no, he kept it in the closet pretty well. No one really knew except, well, if you went to a rap party, then you would see his partner hanging around. And actually, I was with my dad the first time I went on the Haunted Mansion. I was just a little kid, went in there, was freaked out. And the one thing that really stuck in my head about the whole Haunted Mansion thing were the flickering candles. The flickering candles kind of spooked me out. And so then we went on the Bear Country Jamboree ride or show. And as you walk in, there's these flickering candles, and I freaked out and turned around and ran out of there. So my dad used to remind me of that story quite a bit. Candles are spooky. Oh, unless they smell nice. Yeah, that's true. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, it's a shame that Disney made a movie about one of their rides, and it didn't turn out to be a success like the Pirates of the Caribbean's movie.
Yeah, they made 4 of those movies. Do you know that? Yeah, and after Haunted Mansion bombed, they pretty much stopped making movies out of rides that they had. Most of their rides are made out of movies, right? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, that's from a movie. Snow White, Peter Pan, Star Wars. Do you know what movie that Disney made that I wish that they had done a ride out of was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Do you know that they made that movie? The one with Zooey Deschanel and Martin Freeman. Yeah, that's right, the Hobbit guy. And from Sherlock, he's Watson. They never made a ride out of that movie. Oh well. But Twitter is on a ride. The surge in Twitter's shares has revived debate about whether the stock warrants a valuation. The stock is 5 times that of Facebook, its biggest rival in social media. This according to Reuters. Twitter reported yesterday that its active users jumped 24% to 271 million in the second quarter. That pales compared to Facebook's 1.3 billion. Even so, Twitter's shares were trading at about 200 times against Facebook's 39.4 times. If Facebook were trading at Twitter's valuation, it would be worth nearly $1 trillion. Twitter's shares rose about 25% to $48 in the morning trading, giving the company a market value of about $28.3 billion. And Reuters says that active users of Twitter increased more than expected in the quarter as the micro-messaging service introduced product tweaks and services, many built around the Soccer World Cup. Their advertising revenue more than doubled to $277 million in the 3 months that ended on June 30th. Among those that say that Twitter deserves its high valuation are analysts at RBC Capital Markets, and they said, on valuation, yes, Twitter is the highest multiple stock that we cover, but it also has the highest growth rates, so we view the super premium multiples as well warranted. So soon I'm sure Twitter will buy up the entire city of San Francisco and kick everyone out and just have a bunch of empty buildings with maybe a couple of them. How many employees do they have? Like 5? They don't have that many. So it'll be a total empty ghost town place. But that's how big Twitter is getting. What do you think about Twitter? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. Yes, we use Twitter for the show. My handle is Mike Talks, which is what I'm doing now. But email me what you think about it all. And we read your comments on the section emails from email. mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, where you can reach me. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And check out the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, with links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. Go into iTunes and rate and comment on the show, and that helps us out. More people find out about us that way. There's also links to where to find us on Facebook, like the Facebook page. And when I post a new show, share it with your friends. More people find out about us that way, too. There's also links to where to find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Mixcloud, Yelp, Stitcher, and Tumblr. And there's also the Amazon deal of the day. Click on that and buy something at a great discount. That helps us out, too. There's also the blog and the daily podcast picture, as well as all the past interviews that I have done on this show. All there at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Into an interview.
I'm speaking with Dead Cat Hat, Pato Milo, Alan Canume, Steve Glover. That would be Steve's the drummer, Alan's a singer, guitar player, and Pato plays guitar and sings. And you guys were just telling me about, well, we've got a great clear connection here. We're using Skype. And who is to thank for that?
Well, the clear connection, we're just going into like a Zoom microphone. And a while ago, we were talking about the song Station Change and where we recorded the record. We recorded it at Art of Ears in Hayward, and it's owned and operated by Andrew Ernst, the engineer. And back in the 90s, Alan had a band called Harvest Theory. And back when he was friends with guys in Green Day. And so when Green Day and AFI were making their first records at Art of Ears, and Alan was making his record there, that's what gave him, he said, well, let's go check out. Because we wanted to make a really clean, honest, record without a lot of bells and whistles and computer stuff. We just wanted to go in and play as a band and capture us. And Art of Ears was kind of our first thought of where to go for that. And so, it's a nice, clean recording. We really like it.
And he's over in Hayward.
Yeah, Art of Ears, over by the airport there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And what is the songwriting and recording process like for you guys?
Well, a couple of these songs were written, over the last 10 years. Just kind of sat around. Alan had a couple of old songs. I had a couple old songs. So we threw them in there. And then we've written songs together. So some of the songs are collaboration. Some of them are our own specific tunes. Generally, one of us will create the song and kind of record it up in GarageBand or some kind of easy way to get the song structure down, and then we bring it to the band and everybody just kind of plays it down and then starts throwing some parts to it. And so it's kind of like that. We don't ever rehearse. We did rehearse for a couple of months, several weeks before we recorded the album, but usually the songs are kind of like 80% there. And then, we run through them a couple of times and tighten them up, and we go about our business. And that's kind of the process of the whole how we put things. We're working on a new album right now. We have about 5 songs in the hopper. We don't quite have lyrics yet, but that's kind of how we do it. I bring a little rough jam, and everybody chimes in. And
Pato, you're not a big fan of the EP format.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the album. I mean, this is an album. We kind of conceived of it as having a kind of a full run where, it starts off kind of upbeat and it starts getting weird. And toward the end, it's
album
really
to the true sense of the word, where we would have the last song on side A, even if it's all out on CD. And then the first song on side B. Yeah, I kind of feel ripped off with an EP. I want to hear like a whole record. I want to hear a whole trip. And EPs and especially singles is kind of a turnoff to me. I mean, maybe it's just my generation, but I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe I'd be down for doing an EP if we just did like all a live EP of just live songs, or an EP of just instrumentals, or something that's like a real project specific. But I just kind of feel like it's kind of a ripoff when a band throws together a quickie little EP of 2 or 3 songs or 4 songs, and it's just like, just do a whole album. I don't know. That's just me. I could shut up.
Well, I think an album is going to tell a whole story, and an EP doesn't. You don't have time to do that. It's just a couple songs and
on an EP. Yeah.
It's like a sample. Here's something.
So you feel the same way?
Yeah, I like EPs. I like the idea of getting a rough idea of what somebody's like. But if they're going to tell me a story, I want them to tell me the whole story, and that's what an album is to me. So I totally agree, actually.
And that's the whole story.
Exactly.
Oh, Harvey. You used orchestral instruments and your dog for this album.
Yeah.
A giant drum.
There's all kinds of recordings that we added to it on the song Station Change. There's some sounds that we got from the BART tracks. And on the song Orbit's End, we got some NASA transmissions from they're talking on the radio there. Got the dog barking on Under the Moon. Yeah.
Under the Moon, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the song Press to Restore. I mean, you're not going to hear it if you're listening on the little, on your iPhone earbuds, but there's a
concert drum.
There's a big, huge, we had to bring a van. We had to bring a van just to get the drum set, the big drum into the, down to.
Yeah, I like how Andrew, the guy that recorded the album, but I was like, hey, what do you think? We're taking it out of the van. We made a special trip. And he's like, put it back in the van. We're like, all right, we're bringing it in. It was the look on his face on a sound engineering 32. Perspective was interesting. But then we kind of warmed him up to it.
It was at least a 30-inch.
And it turned out pretty good.
Bass drum, like you would use in a concert. Yeah,
yes.
For concert musicians, what do you call it?
You can actually see the pictures of us unloading it somewhere on our website, deadcat.com.
Oh,
in the photos, yeah. If you scroll down a little in the middle of all the photos, you'll see.
You need a good subwoofer, and then you'll hear it. It's like boom.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's all there. It's all there. Like all the levels are there. It's just kind of hard to notice, like Mike was saying or Pato was saying.
And we used a triangle, too.
A triangle?
Yes.
Oh, no.
The same song. Yeah? Yeah. So the whole spectrum, super low, super high.
More triangle. Someone said that in the studio at one point.
We need more triangle.
We're spending like half an hour trying to get the triangle down. Yeah, more triangle.
I got a fever, and it can only be cooled.
For the song. I'm sorry.
He was doing a bit. He was doing a bit, man. It's comedy. Come on.
It can only be cooled by a triangle. More triangle. That's my Christopher Walken impression. All right. Well, I hear a dog walking into the room too.
That was the dog. That's the dog that barked on the album.
Oscar with a K.
I like when a dog walks in a room. It sounds like someone just kind of hitting a tambourine, just sort of running around.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make him bark. Oh.
He won't bark.
He's all the way out there.
So if the mailman comes, he'll know all about it.
Oscar.
No. Oh well. We'll get him to work later.
What do you think of Americana as a genre?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the songs that we started off playing were kind of that way. It seems like it really kind of exploded in the last, 5 to 10 years. And I wrote a bunch of Americana songs back in the 80s. I was still am a big fan of Chuck Prophet and his old band Green on Red, and that kind of brand of Americana I really like. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of maybe turning on itself a little bit. I think sometimes it's getting a little too cute. People are working hard to, stand out and do something radical. There's the guy that plays the shovel. There's some guitar strings on it.
Stomping, clapping.
Yeah,
Whistling, stomping and clapping and more whistling.
It's a formula now.
It is.
It is a formula.
There's gonna be a Casio keyboard that has Americana on it. It's gonna just do that stuff.
and people going, hey.
Yes, exactly. See?
Oh. Well, tell me about is it Pitcairn Isle?
Pitcairn Island, yeah, Pitcairn Isle. The song is just this kind of utopian idea about people that formed a village on this island called Pitcairn Island. There was the mutiny on the Bounty, right? You saw the movie.
That's what the Marlon Brando.
That's right. And so those people, I think it was Fletcher Christian, if Wikipedia serves. He led the mutineers, and they kicked the captain off the boat, and they started their own little community there, and they're still there. The descendants are still there today. You get there by, I think you basically have to go on a freighter ship and then hop on a little boat to get to the island. It's a tiny place. It's like a couple miles. And so anyway, that whole idea was appealing to me one day. So I kind of banged out that. And it's a quick little tune. So we put some birds, not bells and whistles, but we put birds and ship sounds on it.
You should have got a sample of Mel Gibson playing that guy.
Oh yeah,
Fletcher Christian. That would have been hilarious.
Well, where did the seagulls come from? Where were you recording the birds?
I got a lot of seagulls right down here in Benicia, so we like to capture our field recordings.
We get a boom mic, and we kind of go out and
headphones,
we go to bar,
boom mic, big
just
fuzzy,
hold it up to the sky.
Did you really record that yourself?
Yeah.
I thought that was just some stock recording.
Hell no, man.
It kind of looks cool because people are curious. What are you doing?
It's totally legal.
The flapping water. Oh, it took a while for Andro. He really worked hard.
He tripped out on those birds
to get the EQ just right, so you could actually hear it, and it wasn't just muddy.
Oh yeah. We came back another day after we
did a great job.
Finalized the birds. We thought we finalized things. Like, no, I worked on the birds for a couple more hours. We're like, really? A couple more hours?
It sounds just right, and you're like, oh, it was ugly, and now it's great. You can hear the whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, it actually
turned
out really great.
Yeah, it's like
lots of gating and lots of trim around the edges.
And I love the drum beat on this.
Steve, good job.
That's
Steve.
the one I didn't mess up. When it's faster, it's easier.
Well, it's a very short song, so I feel like we've over-talked about it, but that's all right. You get everything. So listen very carefully because it's a quick one. It'll fly by you quickly. It's Pitcairn Isle. It's Dead Cat Hat. And it's Mike's Daily Podcast. Pitcairn Isle. It's Dead Cat Hat there at the Seagulls. Yes, field recordings. Love them. As we go outside Last Place on Earth, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Find out more about them at their website, deadcathat.com. And tomorrow, the finale of our Into an Interview.
And here's today's podcast picture.
So the brewmaster and I, we were going to go on a vacation. We were going to do some flying. We're going to fly somewhere. And, well, there was some things that happened, and I didn't want to fly because of all the stuff going on lately. And the brewmaster did something that was weird. And you can see that all in the cartoon for today. It is the podcast picture there. You can see it at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Michael Masters, the brewmaster, is very scary, especially since now he is a cyborg. Oh, and he happens to be here right now. Brewmaster, are you still a cyborg?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. What are all these wires sticking out of my arm?
That's actually just your arm hair.
Oh, it is? I'm not a cyborg then.
Wonderful. Tomorrow, the finale of my interview with the band called Dead Cat Hat. Plus, we'll hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
I don't know what Mike is talking about there. I thought The Haunted Mansion was a great movie.
It was for the birds. Do you know